So 16 to the power of negative 3 over 4. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this. I don't like this, having a negative exponent. Oh, that's just my phone. That's awkward. So this is going to be over 1. Any number is always over 1. And then with a negative exponent, I'm going to bring it down below. So I brought it down below. And now I'm actually going to write it in radical form. So 1 over. And I'm going to do the denominator, 4th root of 16 cubed. And now I actually want to evaluate that. So 1 over the 4th root of 16 cubed. Now, I know that the 4th root of 16 is just 2, but in case you didn't know, you could take 16, break it up. 8 times 2, 4 times 2, carry that down. 2 times 2, carry those down. Because the 4th root, you need things to be in groups of 4. Oh, that's all of them in a group of 4. And I've got just a group of 2's. So the 4th root of 16 is just a group of 2, just a 2. And then I cube it. And 1 over 2 cubed is 8. So 1 over 8. Notice here the number is not negative. We see that this is a negative exponent. That just tells us that our answer is actually going to be less than 1. It's going to be something on the bottom here, just because it's 16 over 1. I guess it wouldn't have to be less than 1 if there was a different denominator. With this case here, this exponent brings this whole thing down to the bottom, and I can write it in radical form. 4th root of 16 is just a 2, and then we cube it to be 8. All right, so here we have this again. There's a negative exponent. So I'm going to bring the whole thing down to the bottom, including the negative 27, including the negative with the 27. And then I can make it to the power of 2/3. And there's a 1 on top. So now I have to evaluate that. Well, first I have to change the radical form, and then I have to evaluate it. So I have negative 27, and I need to do the denominator, which in this case is a 3. So I have to cube root negative 27, and then I have to square it. So that's my radical form. So 1 over the cube root of negative 27, all squared. So what number times itself, there's 3 of them, will get me negative 27? Well, we actually already did that. That is negative 3. The cube root up here, cube root of negative 27 was negative 3. So negative 3 times negative 3 times negative 3 is negative 27. So the cube root of negative 27 is negative 3, and then I have to square it. Negative 3 squared is 9. So I did have a negative number here, a negative 27, and because I ended up squaring it, I got a positive number. It's 1 over 9. 256. Well, 256 is the 8th root of 256, all cubed. So the 8th root of 256, all cubed, not squared, cubed. Now you can break this down. 128 and 2. This is 64 and 2. This is 8 times 8 with these two 2's. And every 8 is a 4 and a 2, and then a 4 is another 2 and a 2. So every 8 is 2 to 2 and 2. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. That 8 is 2, 2, and 2. And then there. And because it's an 8th root, you need groups of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's all of them. So the cube root of 256 is actually just, sorry, the 8th root of 256 is just 2. And then we have to cube it, which is 8. So you might not know what the 8th root of something is, but if you break it down to its prime factors, you can look for your groups of 8. In that case, I used them all up. There's only one group of 2's, so our answer was 2. Here we have a negative exponent again, so we'll bring the negative 32 down like we did on letter E, and then change the exponent to a positive 7/5. When we do that in radical form, we've got the 5th root of negative 32 all to the power of 7. Now we have to evaluate that. 1 over the 5th root of negative 32 all to the power of 7. So you can break this up. 32 is 16 and 2. This is going to be 4 and 4, and 2 and 2. So I'm looking for 5th roots or groups of 5, so that's all of them. But it is negative, so my answer will be negative 2, not positive 2, all to the power of 7. So the 5th root of negative 32 is negative 2 to the power of 7. So you have to just think, what is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2? 7 times here. 1 over negative was 32, 128. And the answer is negative because there's 7 negatives, an odd number of negatives.